Oh, well, hello there. It's me, your friendly neighborhood shadowy super publisher, Nico, with a new episode of Starfish Cast. And today we have a very special guest, my personal friend and a great colleague in the Konsensus Network Starfish organization, Aleksi Mindy Meldo, man of mind, hailing from the country of Funland as myself. And I'm looking forward to getting into a lot of stuff that we did early days, how Konsensus started, and then of course you will learn a little bit of what Alex does day to day or for the organization. Alexi, brother, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Nico. I'm good. It's sunny here in Finland, and it's usually quite cold during this time, but now it's what's sunnier, so it's good. I like sun.
Yeah, that's why one reason though I left Madeira from the Communist Republic of Finland. Not, I mean, the weather, to be honest, that was the main thing. So yeah, in Madeira, it's sunny almost all the time. So that's nice. Although, ironically enough, I stay inside staring at the screen most of the time anyway. You like the optionality?
Yeah, it's good to be here, and thanks for having me.
Sure. So to get started, maybe you can just tell a little bit about yourself, your Orange Pill journey, and then maybe you have some fun anecdotes of how we met or some stories that we can dwell in.
Sure. A bit about myself. So my background is in, let's say, all kinds of web-related development and design. So started all the way back in the 90s making web pages, and slowly but surely got into like coding and development design. So I work with startups and different projects, mainly doing full stack development and web, also some just web pages and project like that, but mainly full stack web development.
Now, how did you get into Bitcoin?
Oh yeah, the next part. So I got into Bitcoin already in like 2013 or maybe 2012. I can't remember the exact date, but kind of like the first back in the day. I bought a bunch of Bitcoins. They cost like max 50 euros or 100 euros a Bitcoin. But ironically, I spent them all in all kinds of websites like Satoshi Dice and some gambling sites, and also paid for a developer 5 Bitcoins to develop an app and stuff like that. So in hindsight, should have hodled them, but you live and you learn.
No, I mean, I mean, that's like you're a hero. People like you are heroes who actually spend it. Like Laszlo, the pizza guy. People always say this, say like, oh, he should have hodled, but no, I mean, that's like somebody's got to do the work and put the things in motion. Like if nobody uses Bitcoin, what good is it for? So, I mean, I don't think it's very useful to think that way. Like, of course, you can always go back, and I'd be lying if I didn't think like, oh yeah, I wish I kept mining in 2010 when I started instead of like, going on my fiat career. You can always think that, but it's not really like everybody has their own path. And Bitcoin takes its own path through us, through our action. So we always make a trade. And in this case, like let's say you pay the developer 5 Bitcoin, that was an extraordinary act, from the perspective of Bitcoin network, because now you got what you needed at the time. It was probably a very good experience in terms of payment. Person you paid got an experience that was very fundamental, probably to the understanding of the network and the possibilities of Bitcoin. So, I mean, there's immense value in that.
Yeah.
It's easy to get stuck with the fiat valuation, of course.
Yeah, it's easy, but you're right. Actually, it was pretty mind blowing back in the days that you could just, we had no idea who the guy was. And it was like it was very anonymous transaction, but he delivered like half of the project before, and then we paid half. And yeah, it was quite extraordinary like 10 years ago that you.
And I can imagine
I kind of saw that I saw the value of Bitcoin already back then. But then the first like bust came was in 2014 and basically Bitcoin crashed. And that's when I kind of lost. We had also a project going back in the day. We were thinking already of what could we build. And our first obvious idea was a gambling site, of course. And we were really into esports already back in the day. So thinking like a gambling site with Bitcoin and esport, but I guess we were way too early both for Bitcoin and for esports. So
I guess that's the story of a lot of Bitcoiners' lives. Like we seem to be like a decade or two too early with our ideas and stuff. Like I remember seeing like in a StarCraft tournament, there was like the 5 to 8 places you would get. The prize would be 25 Bitcoins. And like the first place was like what, $500 or something like that. So that's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, I left the space basically in 2014. A couple of years, I kept some eye what's happening. And then was it in 2017 or 16, maybe beginning of 17, I saw like, now there's this new thing coming called Ethereum, like it's coming and yes, it's for the world computer. I must hop onto this. I started investing in all kinds of Ethereum, the next Ethereum, some shit coins.
The Chinese Ethereum.
Yeah, the Neo and all kinds of, because can't remember those names. Pretty good gains, but then I never sold and learned quite the hard way the shitcoin casino thing in 2017, 2018. And in 2018, I think we discussed, I saw that you were like kind of like transitioning into Bitcoin maximalism. I was a bit skeptical about Bitcoin maximalism then, but kind of after seeing the shitcoin, all kinds of like shitcoins and Web3 and ICOs, now the scene and scams, and kind of like got lured into back in the Bitcoin maximalism. And of course, then I read Bitcoin Standard at some point, and after that, it's like full on Bitcoiner.
Yeah, I feel the way I remember it was around 2017, 2018 for both of us when we started transition. I think we met 2017, the end of it. And then in 2018, with the great shitcoin crash, I think we both got the final lesson there and started gravitating towards something better. I mean, we were building some shitcoin projects together we were back in the day. Like I'm not ashamed of that. Like that's the path, and it was a very valuable lesson, a very expensive lesson as well. Well, I mean, not the developing part. The investing part was expensive. The developing part was just a detour.
Yeah, I'm glad that we never did an ICO already. Like, I would have not wanted to take people's money and not deliver something.
That's probably why we didn't do it. Like we had the time, like we were working for at least a year on projects, but we never actually launched it because it just felt dirty.
Yeah, it felt wrong.
Yeah. And then of course, you start to realize that a lot of those projects, all of the projects can be done with Bitcoin. Like you don't need a token, like Satoshi is the token.
Yes.
It's such a simple realization, but so many people seem to be stuck with the mindset that you need a separate network for a kind of token for some application.
Yeah, and a big realization was back in the day for me that the blockchain as a technology isn't that great of technology, but it exists for the purpose of like decentralization, and doesn't make sense in most cases to decentralize things. Oh, I like Bitcoin is the money is the only thing that
Right. And I think that you hit it in the head there, because for me, it was the hardest thing to understand the use case of decentralization. In fact, like decentralization is a little bit of a misnomer. It's kind of like lost all meaning, the word. Like almost nothing is decentralized. Like, it's like a natural phenomenon that like occurs. And I think Bitcoin is like, technologically speaking, software wise, probably the only decentralized software that can claim such a title. And the only use, like you said, is money. And that's something that took me years to realize. Like I always thought that, maybe it does have something like distributed, but then we start to talk about distributed ledgers and databases, and that's a whole other thing. It's not really, doesn't have to be decentralized to be distributed. I think this is something that a lot of people get stuck with. They think that, decentralize everything, but no, don't fucking decentralize everything. That means inefficiency. A lot of times the best services are provided by centralization, and money happens to be the exception to that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like building on let's say the first version of Ethereum, like POV, and the services, they were really slow to use. And well, I haven't used any of them like ever since. So I don't know, maybe if there was a good decentralized services, I would be using them. I'm kind of want to try the Nostr thing, but haven't really tried that.
Nostr is interesting. I've been there for quite a while, but as many of those Twitter replacements, they kind of fall short still in the usability, and of course network effects, which is the most important thing. Like a lot of people switch from Telegram to Signal, but for me to do that would mean like I have 100 people in my network in Telegram, and then moving to Signal is just not possible. Same with Twitter. But that being said, like I'm really excited to see what's being built on Nostr and how fast it is moving with the community power. So this might be different. This time it might be different. Really, like we might be able to have something resembling a decentralized social media platform. And that's huge. Like people say that it's bigger than Bitcoin. A little bit of an exaggeration, probably, because Bitcoin played a big role in inspiring that. And the guy who came up with Nostr, Fiat Jeff, is the person who made the Lightning LNT export on Telegram that we've been using since 2018, I believe. Sadly, it's gone now, but yeah. So I think they go hand in hand, and like this decentralized town square and decentralized money. I mean, it's just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, the Lightning tips in Nostr. That's what I'm also excited.
Yeah, the zaps.
Zaps. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I was just posting my old tweets on Nostr, and then somebody just zapped me, and it came to my Lightning wallet, and it's like, kind of realization that you got in the early days of Bitcoin when you make your first transaction, and then it works, and you're a little bit surprised. I felt that joy again. So there's some hope there. Yeah. Speaking of Nostr, I see there's a lot of potential for renewing this world university concept that has been the internet and Google and all that. I feel like this might be the last missing piece. Well, now we have something like GTP and artificial intelligence. Now we have Nostr. You have a place, this town square also doubles as the town university. Like you can go there and get the best information from the best experts that are not verified via fiat degree, but the community support. Like, you have your Nostr private key that can be connected to your online persona. Doesn't matter necessarily who you are or what your credentials, your fiat credentials are, or even what is your name or what your face looks like. All that matters is your proof of work that people respect and people have come to trust. And then you can go and get your education from them. And I think, some projects like Geyser, for example, is using Nostr badges already. So I see there's a lot of like from LinkedIn credentials or fiat university degrees we're moving towards something different, something more flexible. Like you can have several different online personas that are not connected to your meat space identity, and you can live different lives online, and you can be a teacher, you can be a builder, and that's something that I want to also in the long term build for Konsensus Network. There's something that we've been talking about planning for like 3-4 years, Konsensus Academy. But since the book thing is taking most of our time now, haven't really gotten into it. But I think the time might be soon ripe for something like that. That we can have this. Maybe it's a Nostr client, maybe it's just using a Nostr client, and we can have some classes there. But to take the education to the next step, we already have the books that we can use as a curriculum. And I just see that as a nice little development. But talking about Konsensus, why don't you tell a little bit about your Konsensus story?
Yeah, I was there in the, guess I would say in the beginning when you kind of started Konsensus Network. Was it in 2019?
2018. It was there's still a Konsensus association in Finland. They started kind of like I tried to make it a Bitcoin association, but now it's a full-on shitcoin association. Still has the name though. And then at some point, I kind of forked the content creation out from it, because we started having this like a little team. You were one of the part of it, Rafe, and other great people, and Max Hillerbrand also. We were making content, and it was kind of like a separate thing. So that's how Konsensus Network started. It was kind of like a spin-off from the Finnish association that was kind of like localized, not really so much for the international markets. I remember you were making a lot of good content. It's still available on our website. Some of it is in English, some of it is in Finnish. But
that's also quite interesting content about nature of reality and everything.
Yeah, we went pretty deep in that one with how consciousness creates reality and stuff. But that might be in Finnish.
Yeah.
Or is it?
I can't remember. Right? It might have been in Finnish.
We gotta link it here. But it was one of my favorite shows. Got a lot of feedback of that. Like some serious Finns were thinking like, oh, that's too deep. Like that's too whatever. Weird.
Probably is.
Weird. But guess what? Human mind is weird. Like if you don't think human mind is weird, then you're not aware.
Yeah. And who's to say what's possible? I mean, we're traveling on a big rock in the middle of nowhere, hurling on a big rock. Who's to say what's really possible and real? This art.
Yeah, people are so eager to jump to conclusions. I guess it stems from the need to feel secure about your surroundings and your life, that you have things are under control. It's kind of a scary thing to think that anything can happen and you don't really control anything in your life.
But back to Konsensus. I think in 2019 we did content, and then I helped you start the first bookstore together with Elmar, the first site.
Actually, that was way before Elmar. Elmar helped to build the new site, which is now being replaced with the third iteration.
Yeah,
you helped me with the very first one that I built myself with the WordPress. Which, by the way, thanks for that. I couldn't have pulled it off by myself. And even before
I can't remember everything about the it's like
I mean, I might also forget about stuff, but it's nice to remember where we came from. And the first site was, it was an experiment, but that's how we started. Yeah. It was just a WordPress site made by me, and Aleksi made the UX experience and the graphics.
Yeah, I think I've made some UX, and then I helped with some plugins and WordPress. I don't know how it's these days, but it's always been quite hard to get stuff working in WordPress.
Yeah. Yeah, but we did get Lightning payments working in 2019, which was kind of early for merchant. Of course, we use the custodian, but still.
Yeah, then I've been helping with Konsensus. What I do best, which is develop the things, software develop. And now we have been building the new web shop at the new the new bookshop, and then also updating now the affiliate site that's now under development. And we have also made the new landing page for Konsensus Network, the new brand. I really like the new brand.
Thanks to Upright One for making that brand rehash for us. That was really, really good. We've been rolling it out slowly. We still use our old logo in some of the designs and some of the books. Obviously, it takes time to change it, but I think it's a good change. It was time for a change, and I think it's really reflecting our going forward. And the Starfish is a little bit more pronounced in the branding. And yeah, there's a lot to like about the new site, the new landing page. There's going to be more content there. We're going to add blogs and stuff. Working on 21 Futures, which is the fictional anthology about Bitcoin. There's going to be, we got like 50 submissions for that. And, by the way, I'm going to make a whole other video of that, but I'm just going to mention it because it's so cool to read about Bitcoin fiction. And I'm sure you will like it as well. I need to send you those stories. We got 50 submissions. We picked 21 of the best ones, but some of them were still good. So we want to publish them, hopefully in a blog form. So that's one form of content. And of course, if anybody from the team or outside the team wants to write for us, we can publish that. So I think that's going to be one. The Academy is going to be one thing to plug into the Konsensus Network landing page. And then, of course, right now, our main business is the Bitcoin book.shop, which we kind of like popped out of. Like Konsensus.network used to take you directly to the shop, but not anymore. Now it takes you to the landing page, which is one step closer to this a little bit bigger umbrella of services and content that we're about to offer. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, but maybe I'll just mention a little bit about the affiliate program, because that's something that has been on my mind for a long time. And I really want to make the affiliate program work, and maybe something unique, like above. I've been talking about planning these bounties. Like you play a video game, you get quests, daily quests or monthly quests or weekly quests that you have to do something, and then you get a bonus. So if you sell a book to 3 different countries, you get a bonus. If you sell 10 books in 24 hours, you get a bonus, stuff like that. So those are some cool things that you can look forward to. You can actually help us spread the Bitcoin knowledge while stacking some sats. I mean, that's a win for absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I hate marketing, so I'm keen to outsource it to somebody else.
Yeah, it's coming.
Do you have any fun stories to share from the past?
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of stories. Like we've been doing many.
Let's do your favorite stories, and then we can wrap it up. I think it's been a good show already, but I feel like we've been working together for so long, and we've been friends so long. I think that we can add a little bit of personal flavor here as well.
One story that comes into my mind is when we had the idea to present to the Mint of Finland.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot about it. Yeah. Tell it, please.
So it was kind of like this innovation workshop for the Mint of Finland. Mint of Finland prints money in Finland. So literally prints money. And of course, we went there, and being Bitcoiners, we already saw the future there, where fiat is gone and Bitcoin is the thing. And we proposed that Mint of Finland could be called like the Vault of Finland?
Yeah, it was Vault of Finland. I think it was, it was more like a suggestion of a service for them that they could offer this cold storage service, Vault of Finland.
Yeah, we said that you could offer this as a separate brand, Vault of Finland, that securely store Bitcoin for people and organizations and really looking into the future where how could they like change their model in the changing world. I think it went completely over.
Yeah, it was like we were a decade too early again.
And
or maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, and the audience really, well, they probably thought that we were crazy or something. But crazy one is a good to be crazy one.
Yeah, like, I mean, the crazy ones are the ones who, how was it? Those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Was it Steve?
Yeah, I think it was Steve. What a legend. Yeah, anyway, of course, there was like this competition of these ideas, and the idea that one was something like another different promotional coin or celebratory coin that they're going to mint, like run-of-the-mill stuff. People are completely clueless. Like it baffles me day to day how little the people understand who actually run things in this fiat world that we live in. Like it's, when I was younger, I really thought that, you had there's really, the professionals, they really know what they're doing. And now the more I learn about it, it's like, holy shit,
nobody knows what they're
doing. Amazing. So yeah, it's up to us to.
Yeah. So actually back to Steve, he actually said something about like that everything around you that you call life is made up by people that were no smarter than you. So I think it's a good way of thinking things, that you can actually change things around you. It's not static. Well, money system is not static. Money can change.
And people like to say things are impossible. Like throughout human history, I bet, people thought that making fire is impossible. And those who tried were ridiculed. Making a wheel was impossible. I mean, the same pattern seems to repeat. So, don't listen to the naysayers. Just do what you think is going to work, even if it's not going to work. And by the way, Steve also had this thing. This is going to turn out to be like a Steve Jobs fanboy episode soon, but because there's a bit of a fanboys here, but I got to share this. And by the way, his autobiography, the only one that I've read and the only one that I like. It's really, really good stuff. But he had something that he called reality distortion field that has been sticking with me ever since I read that in the book. And that's kind of like what we are doing as well. Like we are distorting the reality around it. And this is something that we went a little bit deeper in the episode about the mind and consciousness. But this is like, if you can will something into existence, if you believe enough on it and you put work in it and you convince people around you, like it can be as simple as radiating this optimism that convinces people that, okay, that maybe this is possible, or just then simply showing people, the naysayers, that this is possible. And I'm going to share one more quote. It's a Japanese proverb. It goes something like this. It goes, if someone can do it, I can do it. If no one can do it, I must do it. So it's kind of like the same thing. Like if you think that the world is ready, the science is settled, so to speak. It has never been so. How can you think that now we have everything figured out? How can you think that a decade from now we don't have some major revelations about space travel or whatever it is? We can't imagine those things. Like people have been notoriously bad at predicting the future. Even those that are very accurate get very fundamental things wrong. Like for example, the internet was a very difficult thing for anybody to predict. I don't believe anybody did. So let's not pretend to know everything. Let's not pretend that we have knowledge. I think that's the source of all these problems in the world, because people think like, this is for certain, this is for a fact, and it's never going to change. It has always been. But it became a fact because enough people believed in that. Enough people willed it into existence.
Yeah, it's not an instant process also. It takes time when you start building something or wielding something into existence. And other times you just have to keep going at it, and suddenly you start to see things change and start to see these new pieces of information come to you and new inventions that probably make the thing you're building possible. It's a process. It's not like a, so you know this very well that the world doesn't change in an instant.
Yeah, every entrepreneur knows this very well. That, behind every success, there's tons of failure, and that's something that people who are not entrepreneurial minded or geared towards entrepreneurship, they usually just see that, but he got lucky with this discovery or invention, and that's why he got rich. But what they don't see is the hundreds of failures that lead them down that path. I don't think there's a lot of people who just instantly got something without any proof of work. So yeah, I guess that's the takeaway. Like, you have to put in the hours and you have to believe in yourself and do it yourself instead of looking for answers from somewhere up high. It used to be God, now it's the experts. In that sense, we are God, all of us.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good way to wrap it up. And we should probably do another episode on mind and consciousness, because I'm getting all fired up.
Me too.
A nice topic.
But maybe we'll do a follow-up episode.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. Get some other cool people. Like maybe could be a good addition to that. He's a fun guy to talk to. But yeah, let's wrap this up. And can you just tell everybody where to find more about you, and if they want to get in contact and see your stuff, what you're working on?
Yeah, probably the best way to find me is from Twitter. It's at Mindy, MAINDI, Mindy. And there's also a link to my personal webpage where you can find some projects I'm working on, including Konsensus Network.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Aleksi. Thanks a lot. This was a fun episode, and let's do another one themed on the things of mind, like we did back in the day. It's an honor to work with you and have you as a friend, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Nick, for having me.
Of course.
Great.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.